Well, good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening. As we're sitting here on Thursday, and we're at the 17th of July, 2025, getting on past 5:35 p.m. Central Time. I do want to remind you that after I do the weekend reviews for you, and I do intend on doing them, I won't be in these videos for a week or so as I take off some time for myself. This is now when I do it each year. I look forward to it. I wasn't able to do it last year because I left town, and in 48 hours I was back as a storm, an F1 tornado, as they say, came into Chicago, right literally hit my property, downtown Chicago, took down the tree in front, took out trees in the back, ruined my roof. So I'm hoping I can go away this year. That sort of just ruined everything for me. We'll see what happens. We'll take it from there. It is an interesting market. We had 3 bills finally pass the House of Representatives to go back to the Senate for passage, but what do they call it? The Genius Act. That went through for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's obviously up on this news. I told you that I have a target of 133,500 on the next level to the upside. Metal markets fighting for direction, but overall, here's what I think. Silver to me just looks good, all the industrial metals, because the stock market is so strong and the dollar has been this strong, that's weighing on the gold market. So gold isn't the place, as I see it, that the action is happening right now. When we take a look at the foreign currencies in the back end, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the yen. On the 20th is the election. I have a feeling that Prime Minister Shiba is not going to get the backing he wants, according to the polls. We'll see what happens there. You know, I heard something today that was so strange to me. We're seeing a lot of foreign buying of U.S. interest rates, in other words, Treasuries. Guess who one of the biggest buyers is right now? I was so surprised. Canada. With all that's going on, you would think they'd shun it, but that's not what's going on through there. The energy markets are acting better. You're pushing the $70 mark in the Brent. You seem to be pretty much range bound right now. There's not a lot on the war scene that's doing anything. We're not hearing too much yet about what the U.S. is going to do about Russia, other than the 50-day period they gave them. I do like that the U.S. is figuring out a way to buy drones from Ukraine. We need drones, all right? They have the technology. They're proving it. They've been able to keep Russia somewhat at bay. I mean, you know, they're fighting this massive army there, and these guys are the bravest guys in Ukraine, but their technology is superior for what they're doing. And that seems to be how warfare is being done today. You know, the old days of sending the tanks in, that isn't what's going on so much. Drones are what's going on, and they can take out tanks and other things. Very interesting. When we look at the S&P, if you were to finish right here for the week, you're up 0.66 and an all-time high on a closing basis. That is impressive. When you take a look at the action, the market has been going sideways for about 2 weeks with a slight bend to the upside. The pattern is one of a higher high and a lower low. The battleground, the market reached down 48 hours ago, challenged, as I told you when you lost the bullish embedded reading, challenged the 18-day average of closes, found its support, and went on to make a new high from there. You see what happened. Bollinger Band resistance should come in now, and I'm looking at it at 63.86 in the S&P. You can see what happened as you came down here, major run, and now the market's trying to re-embed again. Let's take a look at what this means, because it's so darn important. Here we are on Wednesday, and the market wasn't able by day's end to stay without the embedded reading. In other words, it didn't lose it. It kept it. And the market went down to that key moving average and just turned away. And now, wouldn't surprise me if you go up for new highs. In the NASDAQ, you're just staying strong. Same thing here. The weak markets have been the Dow. It lost its embedded reading. It went right to that number. It's coming back up, but not making new all-time highs. And the Russell, same thing, went down to these key numbers and held them. Once you learn how to work with these momentum indexes and understand and become part of the school of understanding that most of the time, not always, Momentum will lead a trade. How often do you hear the word, oh, there's momentum trades going on? The momentum buyers are buying this stock or whatever they're doing. That's what's really going on, or the stock indices in our case. In the DAX, same thing. You lost the bullish embedded reading. You came down to the 18-day average and you magically stopped. Often that's the case. The closest main moving average that I teach in my charting courses, the bonds, are you going to get a bearish embedded reading where these numbers lock in and stay under 20 for several sessions or more? If they do, it just keeps the pressure on these markets and away they go. I'm going to repeat. The president he should stop pressing the Fed chair. If more you read and you understand the cost overruns of a 1930 building full of asbestos that they had to lift to get rid of everything and then put down, and you'll say, well, why can't they remove the building? History. It would have been cheaper to build a new building, but you can't always do that, all right? So what it comes down to is the history of America, our heritage and so on. It goes through there. Now, I do understand that Fed Chair Powell has answered the investigating attorneys their questions. I don't know how he answered them or where he's at, but you have to understand, all the Fed governors voted for this and they've been kept on it and they keep voting to do it. They see the problems. I know everybody thinks these VIP rooms, these grandiose things are happening. I've never been in the building, so I don't know. I have my doubts. Serious doubts. I think the president is barking up the wrong tree, and as he's doing that, he just might force interest rates higher. I think he should be quiet at this point. In the 5-year note, we have a higher high and lower low, and I think you're just sitting here doing nothing. Again, a market that might develop an embedded reading. If you get those, you're going to take interest rates higher. That could be a problem for the stock market. So far, it hasn't happened, which I think is good news. Look at how you've come from the lower Bollinger Band right on up here to the upper, and now you should have some problems. That's what I personally think is going to happen. I've been wanting to see the euro hit the lower band. Finally got what I wanted. That happens when you lose this embedded reading and you go down. For those of you that have TradingView, I make my suite of indicators available on it if you don't use our charting software. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. The British pound, lower highs, lower lows, coming down. We'll see. Now, I don't know if I mentioned to you the reports for tomorrow. You don't have anything super major. You've got the housing and building permit data. That'll come out at 7:30. And the University of Michigan, the pre-Linn July consumer sentiment. With the stock market rallying like this and all that's going on, I have a feeling it's going to be in pretty good shape for those two things. All right, at least the consumer sentiment part. In the British pound, I mentioned to you the other day, I think that when you hit a Bollinger Band, the pros start coming out. Now, if this locks in with bearishness and the others, and you'll see, there's one after the other that you're getting here that are in the bear camp right now in currencies, it leads credence that maybe the dollar has bottomed. I don't know. The charts are too difficult right here. They're not giving me an answer. And even when they do, nobody calls me up. You have to interpret it, as you know. Bitcoin, why not go for the highs up here? Again, you are overbought. When the market is overbought, I teach that I will not put out buy signals. If it's oversold, I won't put out sell signals, all right? You don't throw new money into overbought or oversold. If it embeds, I'd be all over the market. Now, you did lose the embedded reading, which means before you take out that high, in theory at least, the market should make a run to here. Does that mean I'm bearish? No, it means I don't want to put money to work on the bull side. When I take a look at crude oil, higher high, lower low, caught in the moving average mess, I don't see anything to do there. It's the same story in WTI. It's the same story in gasoline. And look at how you're narrowing in the Bollinger Bands and starting to just drift sideways. And that gas has a lower and low, higher high. I think it will have a lot of trouble if it tries to get up to the 370, 240, the 370, 180 level. It's just some of these markets aren't the place to be. Others are. I like sugar of all things. I know it sounds crazy, but I have a sweet tooth. And seeing Coca-Cola abandoning sugar and sugar prices holding up, that's not the worst thing that could happen with that market. Now, another thing to look at. Remember what I just said. If you have TradingView, we make our indicators available in it. There are 6 indicators, and the 6 that I use are all there. One of them, which is a different type of indicator, is the outside days, and I highlight them in it. Now, let's assume you say, I don't want that in it. Okay, just click it, turn that off. Couldn't be any simpler than that. Let's assume you don't want the window envelopes. Okay, click, turn them off. But let's assume you want my slow stochastics. You want to have the swing line studies you see me use. My other tools, they're here, the Bollinger Bands, all that, it's there for you. So how do you do this? Because it ties in with everything I teach, my morning videos, the ones at the end of the day here, and it only takes up 2 slots on what you're doing. So it's not an awful lot. You simply go to iraepstein.com, and when you go there, go to the client resources on the top right, and that's where you sign up. You'll see it. Sign it up. We'll turn it on, and away you go. Couldn't be simpler. I'm Ira. I will catch up with you in the other videos, and of course, first thing in the morning in our Morning Flash videos. Have a great evening.